Hello everyone, I'm Sharpedo43 once again, bringing you all another Wi-Fi battle. This is going to be in the UU tier, and my opponent for it is going to be Neos once again. I'm going to be using somewhat of a new team now. It's going to be consisting of Sharpedo again, but it's going to have some other Pokemon that I have never used, such as Among Us, Gliscor, Infernape, Klefki. Well, Klefki I've used in Generation 6, but not in Generation 7, so yeah. I'm hoping that I can do very well in this battle. In fact, looking at this guy's team, it's actually going to be very... It doesn't deal with Infernape very well. If I manage to get it in safely, like on switch in, it's going to run a lot of house. In fact, that's why I lead with it right here. Because if I lead with if he leads anything that isn't Mega Manectric, I'm basically in a good position. But as you can see here, he leads with Darmanitan, which definitely motivates me to just go straight for the close combat right out of the gate. So he's definitely not gonna want to lose Darmanitan. And he's going to switch in Seismitoad, which is probably his only switch into this close combat in all honesty. And I say that because, while this does over half, thanks to the leftovers, I'm definitely not motivated to stay and go for another close combat, because if this thing survives, he can retaliate with an Earthquake or Earth Power. So I'm definitely going to switch out and go into Among Us. And because on the off chance he goes for Earth Power, he is going to predict me to switch out, unfortunately, and he's going to get his rocks up, which is annoying because now everything I switch in is going to take hazards damage. And what I'm going to do right now is go for Spore, because I do not think he's going to want to stay in with Seismitoad in all honesty. So, yeah. In the process here, I'm going to go for Spore, and he's going to switch into Muck. I'm actually glad I got to put this Muck to sleep, because Mucks are typically annoying, just because they're kind of bulky and also kind of powerful, and they have a stab move and knockoff, which is an annoying ass move, because that shit knocks off a lot of items, while also doing a lot of damage because of how it's stabbing and whatnot. So, yeah. Here I'm going to switch out into Klefki to start getting my hazards up, because since he got his rocks up, I figure let's start getting our hazards up so that we both even up the playing field. And he's actually going to double actually and go into Manectric. And I was like, oh. So now that he put me in this situation, I'm like, you know what, let's just go for Spikes nonetheless. If he goes for Flamethrower, I don't think it'll KO my Klefki. And if he goes for Overheat, I can only hope it misses or that it just doesn't KO, maybe due to a low roll or something. Because I think this Klefki is Spadef invested, I think. I could be wrong though. So, but instead he's going to go for Volt Switch, which is fine with me. It's only a matter of what he's going to send in now. He's actually going to go into Darmanitan, which is kind of unfortunate because I don't really have a switch into a Flare Blitz from this thing. Even Latias, who resists it, will take a lot of damage from this Flare Blitz. So literally the only thing I can do with this Klefki now is just get a second layer of Spikes. This might be in vain because if his Hydreigon has Defog, he can just defog them later, the spikes. So, but I wanted to get them up right now so that anything that switches in that isn't Hydreigon can take it. So, yeah. He is going to go for Flare Blitz here. He does get a crit, which is actually kind of crazy, and it actually makes me kind of glad I didn't switch anything else out. So, or in on this Darmanitan, because if that were the case, I would have been crit and I would have lost something probably. But yeah, here I go into Gliscor now, because what I want to do now is get my own rocks up, just so that the Hydreigon as well can take damage on entry. And here, this guy's going to just stay in and go for another Flare Blitz. I was personally hoping he'd switch out, because I could easily Earthquake this thing, but I mean, I think he was also aware that he loses nothing by just going for Flare Blitz. I lose nothing by going for Stealth Rocks here myself, because if I don't get them up now, that Mega Manectric is probably not going to let my Gliscor get anything up, so might as well get them up now. So here I am going to lose Gliscor, which does suck, but now I just can send in Infernape and just go for close combat. Now this Darmanitan is going to definitely go down because he's actually going to let it go down. But after this, I think he's going to send in Manectric again. This time he will Mega Evolve this time, because he forgot the last time, I'm guessing, because honestly there's nothing on my team that he can really abuse the Lightning Rod ability. So I think it's only logical that he forgot to Mega Evolve earlier. So yeah, I think here he goes for Volt Switch, predicting me to switch out, because I do not want to stay in on a possible Thunderbolt from this thing. And I don't think after an Intimidate I'd be able to take out this thing, even though this took the Mega Manectric took hazards damage. So here I'm going to send in Among Us, hoping that he does not go for the Fire move, predicting me or something. But like I said, he does go for Volt Switch here. And I think here's where he decides to go into Hydreigon. Now, because he went into Hydreigon, I was under the impression that because Among Us can't just straight up KO the Hydreigon, he's probably going to try to take advantage now to get the defog off, because he does have a lot of hazards on his side of the field that are hammering his team down very well. So I figured, okay, let's send in Sharpedo and hope he goes for defog. Because if this thing is choice and goes for defog, I can easily just go for a Crunch, Psychic Fangs, or Ice Fang, depending on what I predict here. So, but he ends up unfortunately going on the offensive and just going for Dragon Pulse. So as a result, this was just kind of a sack, which really sucks because I was setting up all those hazards mostly so that I can get that Sharpedo sweep. But unfortunately, now that's not going to be the case. Now it's up to Infernape, which is probably my last offensive mon to deal with the rest of this guy's team. Because, like I said before, this thing kind of answers the majority of his team after it's taking a lot of hazard damage. He sends in Seismitoad just to sack it because he knows that this thing is not going to be useful in the long run. I go for close combat and just take out the Seismitoad. After taking out the Seismitoad, I think here's where he decides to go into Breloom because now I'm at -1 defense. So this gives him the opportunity to put me in a situation where I'm either going to have to predict him to go for Spore or predict him to go for Mach Punch. So I figure, okay, let's switch in Amoonguss, considering it's immune to Spore and it resists Mach Punch very well. So I'm going to switch in Amoonguss right now. Unfortunately for me, he crazily enough actually makes a prediction here and actually doubles on me again and goes back into Hydreigon. So I was like, damn it. Had I went for another close combat there, I would have been able to take out this Hydreigon. But I really did not want to risk the Mach Punch considering I was at -1 defense. So, yeah. The only thing I could do right here is hope he does not go for a fire move. He actually does not. He ends up going for Dragon Pulse. So I was thinking, okay, he's probably locked into the Dragon Pulse. So I'm definitely going to just pull this off. Yeah, the Z move for Acid Downpour, which is actually kind of crazy. Because it's on a freaking Amoonguss of all things. Like, I personally never expected Amoonguss to be carrying a Z move. I honestly don't know who made this team, but I don't know what was going into his or her mind when he was making this team. Because honestly, this Amoonguss has defensive investments, so for it to be running something as wacky as a Z move, it's kind of weird. But it does end up helping me in the end here a little bit, just because it helps me cripple this Hydreigon, which kept being at relatively high HP, which didn't allow my Infernape to just KO it with a U-turn. So that's why I was discouraged to go for U-turn in the first place. But here, as you can see, this Z move actually kind of forces him to reveal that he's not even Choice Scarf, because he ends up switching it up to Flamethrower, taking out my Amoonguss. That was another reason I stayed in, because I thought that he can only Dragon Pulse me now that he was locked into it, but he was never even Choice to begin with. So he's now going to lose Hydreigon thanks to the U-turn. I had to make this pivot so that I can send in Latias, because Latias is the only thing that's kind of the most healthy on my team right now. And I was actually kind of hoping he'd go into Muck, considering it's asleep, because this would allow my Latias to set up a Calm Mind here. And I didn't think I was going to be able to KO after +1 with Draco Meteor, but I was just kind of hoping that, you know what, with the hazards that it just took right now, the rocks and the spikes, I was hoping that maybe, just maybe, I'd be able to take it out with a Draco Meteor. I wanted to go for a second Calm Mind right here, but I did not want to risk this Muck not waking up the second turn. I knew it wasn't going to wake up the first turn because it didn't even burn any turns of sleep to begin with, so, but yeah. So here I go for the Draco Meteor. I am now at -1, and unfortunately for me, he was still asleep, the Muck. So unfortunately, I do miss out on the second turn of Calm Mind. But I did not want to risk this thing waking up, because look, I'm pretty sure that the plan here was to go for a knockoff, and if I miraculously survived, he would probably go for Shadow Snake. So I probably would have lost this Latias had I not gone for the Draco Meteor. So here, consequently, I have to go for another one because Psyshock is not going to do anything to this thing, and I needed to take this thing out. Now I'm at -3. He is going to send out Mega Manectric now. I wasn't sure if I could take it out with a Psyshock, so which means that I pretty much would lose this battle if I just stay in and let this thing cripple my Latias even further with Hidden Power Ice. So what I decided to do here was just switch in Infernape and hope that he goes for Hidden Power Ice, because if he goes for anything like Bolt Switch, I pretty much lose the battle. Thankfully for me, he ends up going for the Hidden Power Ice, which now allows me to go for a close combat and take out the Mega Manectric. If I did not make this switch, I would have definitely lost this battle, because this guy's last Pokemon was Breloom, which if the Mega Manectric got the Hidden Power Ice off on my Latias, it would have been weakened enough for it to be in range of a Mach Punch. And right now this Infernape is already weakened, and it's definitely in range for a Mach Punch. So as you can see here, I just go for it, or I just go for a close combat because that's all I can do. I cannot switch in Latias, because if I switch in Latias, it's gonna be 2-hit KO by Mach Punch. As you can see, these rocks weaken my Latias enough to almost KO me with the Mach Punch here. In fact, if he got a crit right here, this would have been the whole game. So thankfully I do survive, and I'm able to take out this Breloom with a Psyshock. And that's gonna be the whole damn game. Like, holy cranberries, this battle was hella close. It was actually scary because I was actually behind throughout the majority of the battle, and it wasn't until it got to the muck that I was able to slowly bring it back. But damn, it was very, very narrow, and it only took him mispredicting in order for me to actually win the battle. Because if I did not make that prediction correctly, he would have won, in all honesty. But I'm personally glad I got to win this battle, because holy cranberries. If you guys have watched my draft league battles in the NGDL and PGL, holy cranberries, I'm not looking too hot, in all honesty. It actually kind of annoys me when I'm losing way too many battles. You know that I don't mind losing my battles, but I definitely get kind of angry when I'm losing way too many battles. So for me to finally get a win, at least here in the Smogon format, it feels really, really good. So yeah, I'm actually glad. And not to mention, this battle was actually really, really good. So I figured why not show it. But anyways, thank you for watching this battle. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments if you guys want to. And I'll catch you guys in the next battle. But for now, just take it easy.